I don't contribute much to the Catholic Church, so don't think you're going to miss my tithing. Well, good morning. It's really great to see you folks. And you know, it's funny about the books. And I'm being serious, but I have ADD, and I don't like books. I really don't. They've never been my friend. I was not a good high school student. People go, Jerry, we got Cliff Notes. You remember Cliff Notes? They were like 8 pages, and I'd go, oh, that's so long. 8 pages. I'd go, Jerry, it's 8 pages. This morning may be a challenging talk for some of you, but I think you'll be okay. It's kind of a bizarre. By the way, I left my talk at home, so you're stuck with this. whatever this is. And oh, by the way, I think Jesus is upset with you guys. See the last line of this song? You replace Jesus with angels. He is not going to like that. I'll tell you that. I grew up Protestant. I grew up in a Methodist church. My brother was a Methodist minister, so I recognize all these. You know, I discovered my gifts late in life. This is not a talk about me. It's just a talk about a kind of phenomenon that I've witnessed. None of you have this phenomenon, by the way, so just kind of put it out there. And I have sinuses and allergies, so I apologize for that. And I discovered them, I don't know, about 10 years ago. You know, I went to a circle that Annette was she had a house cleaning service. She cleaned her house, and that's how we got to know each other. And I started going to this circle and discovered my gifts. I'm 68, so 9, 10 years ago, something like that. And in that time, I've developed a clientele base of over 1,000 clients. Quite honestly, that sounds great. That's not that big. Annette probably has a clientele base of 20,000, whatever. But since I have an LLC, I have to report this to the IRS. And so I have to keep track, right? And in those 1,000 clients, and I know people do a ton of readings. I don't do a ton of readings. It's going to be my honor to do some mini readings this afternoon. Buckle up if you have me, I can say. And you know, before the transplants, which was 3.5 years ago, I did maybe 250 a year, you know. And I'm living proof of what the energy of metaphysics can do on the good side, and also, if you allow it, can also bring you down. And so if I've got over 1,000 clients, and since my transplants, I only do about 2 a week, 2 readings a week, so it's about 100, about 100, 125 a year. So what do all those other clients do? I will tell you what those other clients do. When I look at a reading, and I've discovered this phenomenon, I'm going to call it, the time of this talk is going to be rough. It's metaphysical addiction. Don't change it, Rosie. I know you're going to change it. You're going to change it. You're going to say something about unicorns and soft soaps and rainbows. And, no. I don't use the word addiction lightly because I grew up with addiction, and currently members of my household are addicts, or recovered addicts, and doing very, very well. So I don't use that, but I got to start to view some of this phenomenon where people come to me for all the answers, you know. None of us have all the answers. None of you have all the answers. You all have gifts. And there's been some clients, I can just see Spirit going, oh God, you're talking to her again. You're talking to him again. It's not going to end well, Jerry. It's not going to end well. You know, abort, abort. Get out, get out. I can't. They've already paid. You know, I need some Skechers, so I got to take this money. And this phenomenon just happens to where we need. This is kind of, you know, the timing of this is kind of bizarre because I'm going to be doing messages here in a few minutes. So, but to me, a reading should provide closure, comfort, and clarity. Occasionally, I'm like you. I don't get many readings these days. But by the way, I sway a lot. So if you think you're on a cruise ship, that's I'm apologizing. I've had back surgery, so it keeps my back kind of fluid. And so, yeah, I want answers to things too. But what Spirit has pushed back on me is yes or no answers. You know, because, folks, you all have gifts. You wouldn't be here if you didn't, right? You know, let me say little hands again. The people who grew up Catholic, one more time. Yeah, you didn't discover your gifts in there, did you? I sound so anti-Catholic. I'm so sorry. And so, when I view this, I had people kept coming and coming to me, and I'm like, I can't help them anymore. I can't. You know, and then I'd find out they were going to other psychics and mediums, looking for the right answer that they wanted, looking for the specific answer. And I remember sitting in front of one, I go, just give me the answers you want me to tell you. I'll give you a discount, and I can go grab a Diet Coke or something, and okay, I don't really do that, that's not true. But it is funny. So what Spirit has said to me is, really, why did I discover my gifts late in life, you know? I've often said, you know, I could have been younger, there's a lot of young people here, I could have helped a lot of people, and Spirit said, part of your purpose and meaning, I once heard the meaning of life is discovering your gifts, right? Actually, I heard this in the Catholic Church. And the purpose of life is using those gifts that you have discovered along the way, right? And so Spirit said, you're to tell people that if they didn't feel these gifts at an early age, that we don't want them to think that life has passed them by and that they cannot use these gifts. I mean, I get you guys to, who's Mark and who's Alan?
I'm Mark.
Okay, he must be Alan. And he just learned to play the organ. He's never played before. It's a Christmas miracle. Oh my God. That funeral music when I'm walking up. And so people have come to me, and I tell them all the time, folks, you don't need to come to me. I'm glad you do, but you don't need to come to me. There's, you know, use your gifts, use your intuition. You know, I'm writing this book, and it's a goat rodeo, this latest book. It is transformed 4 or 5 times. And so it's not going to be right till next year. And so finally, I'm sitting there one day writing, and Spirit goes, have you noticed, maybe not in this tone, okay, here's a funny little story. How many people here know Tyler Henry? The Hollywood meeting, you see him on TV. So you know, Tyler Henry connects by writing all this stuff. I thought that's what I should do, because I'm always drawing circles. So I started drawing circles, and I started drawing circles, and I could hear Spirit going, what are you doing? Drawing circles, this is how I connect. Step away from the paper and the pen, Jerry. Sorry, that was a lot of humor. Yeah, you can change the title of this talk. But using your gifts. Listen, I love messages. You know, I was here when John Rogers gave me a message a few weeks ago. He's a bit eccentric, which is what I like about him. And he gave me messages that really helped me. So we like messages. The people that come to me, I probably don't see them more than once or twice a year, you know. I'm glad they come to me. Some people, you know, when I was in the hospital for 8 months, I'm sure they went to other people, which is great, because I don't do this for a living. But I guess my point is, because this leaves a lot of time for, I know what Rosie's thinking. Rosie's over there going, oh my God, it's off the rails again. It's off the rails. This will leave more time for messages. But the thing is to use your gifts and use it, and especially, I have very few, it's good to see men. How many men are here? Us? Are we the only? Is there any? And they're between us and the door, so I really gotta watch what I say. I have very few men clients. I mean, 99% are women, and the few men clients I tell, I said, you know, women's intuition is real, and you can see they get so depressed, they just lower their head. And I said, you're gonna have to go back and apologize to your partner if she's female that she's right. Just say she's right, and practice that, and just do it over and over again. Okay, so we'll let Spirit flow, which I'm real analytical. This doesn't work well. In fact, you can cut off at any time that you want. But we all have these God-given gifts. They come from God. You know, that's why, you know, it's funny. I would never be welcomed in any Protestant, I grew up Protestant, or Catholic church talking about this. You know, I've said this before. I can never stand up in a Catholic church and say, now I'd like to talk to those people whose dead grandmother, I'd like to connect with your dead grandmother. Anybody have, you know, that's just not going to go well, and I wouldn't say that. But the thing is that I'm a Catholic and I'm welcomed with open arms in this church. It's amazing because this is how I use my gifts, you know. And Spirit, there's been times I came close to joining the Spiritualist church, mainly because of Annette. And Spirit said, no, it's going to be a bumpy ride, but we need you to remain Catholic because they need to hear what you have to say. And has it cost me friends? Yeah, people have known me for 20, 30 years, but it's the way it is because I'm using my gifts. So using your gifts takes a risk. Back to my original point, you don't have to have readings all the time. I know it's challenging, you don't. It's great to get messages. I love it. I love to give messages. I love to give readings. But I've had to drop people because I had to tell them, I can't help you anymore. You know, the energy doesn't connect. The energy doesn't connect because I can't help you anymore. So I'm sure there's no metaphysical addicts here. But please don't fall into the trap. I've seen many a person fall into that trap where they say, I'm going to go to Jerry because he has the answers. Spirit's got the answers. I'm a retired pet food salesperson. Okay, how many answers do you think I'm going to give you about the afterlife? It's Spirit working through all of us. Okay, that was the most discombobulated, but yet it was brilliant if you go back and listen to it. So it's going to be my pleasure to do messages this afternoon, or many readings. The last time I was here, how many people were here the last time I was here? Let's show of hands. Okay. I gave readings, I gave messages to about noon. And then after noon, I did about 3.5 hours of messages. Yeah, not going to do that today. I'm just so sorry. You get to my age, my body is built for comfort, not speed. I can't just stand up on my own for 4 hours and give messages. But it's going to be my honor to do messages and then do many readings and use your gifts. Readings are great. And I think clarity is the big one. Folks, I've made some jokes here, but I'm serious. Clarity is the big one. We need clarity in our lives, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to go and get readings. It's okay to get messages. Chris Brown is back there just writing. Will he ever shut up? And so, yeah. Spirit just said, sit down. So anyway, that's what I've got for you this morning. I look forward to the messages here in a few minutes. Dig into your wallets and give money.
Thank you.
That was my pitch for money.